If you're an actor trying to build a real working career in the industry, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon Sturges, and I've worked as an actor for over 30 years. And for the past 15, I have coached some of the top working actors in the business. So I have seen this industry from both sides. So I'm uniquely qualified to talk about what it takes to get you hired and have a lasting career in this industry. So today I am joined by J. Teddy Garces, whose credit, well, he's one of our amazing teachers at the studio,
Yeah.
but he hasn't been teaching so much lately because he's been so busy working. He just got a very big job and he'll be gone out of the state for a while, but you've seen him on The Pit, you've seen him on SWAT, he's created his own movie. He's a busy, busy guy. What is the fastest way to lose trust on set?
Lie,
Ooh,
lie, lie. That goes for in front of and behind the camera,
right, yeah,
right? We have this mutual understanding that what we're doing is creating art, right?
right.
And in this particular art form is storytelling, whether it's your department or mine, whether it's what you're accountable for and what you're responsible for, or what I'm responsible for. Um, yes, there's the whole thing of if somebody asks you if you can horseback ride, or if you say yes, damn it, and then you go take horseback riding lessons, or somebody, cool, no problem. But there's things that can kind of get in the way of a production making their day if you're not necessarily ready. And that, and that goes for everybody. That goes for a writer, or a director that says, or that tries to ooh, that tries to bait you into nudity, right?
Right.
Without a nudity writer, right?
Hmm.
Or that tries to do something like that, which those people are not out there as much anymore. They're not, with the creation of the role of the intimacy coordinator, and certain things, and that have changed in the past years. But also as an actor, just your preparation is is a form of you telling the truth.
Right.
That's a fact. You preparing and you being ready to take on that day and to make everybody's job easier is a form of telling the truth, because it is a promise that you've made to them. And if you're not prepared, then that means you've lied. That means that you've misled them, or that you've led them to believe that you can actually do this and you can't, or you've led them to trust you, and you broke that trust,
Right.
right? So there's a lot of ways in which that can happen. So I really do think that it comes down to keeping up your end of the bargain, showing up on time,
Oh.
because every second I used to I had an acting teacher who used to say, who people used to walk into class late, right?
Uh-huh.
He'd be like, "What, are you kidding me? Every second on a Martin Scorsese set is $400,000." That's not true. $400,000 a second is just not a thing. It's not a thing. Your budget would be done in like 5 hours. Um, but he would say stuff like
Mhm.
that. But just to kind of get us to understand, it's like, yo, you got to treat this the way you're gonna treat that, because this is your practice. The same way you come in here to practice and you get on stage and you work on this. It's
And I think a
practice.
lot of beginning actors sometimes don't even realize, like, oh, why do they bring me in so early? And it's not just the idea that you're going to be working very soon to get people through hair and makeup. So you
That's
can
right.
make sure that there might be other factors that you have no idea about. And,
That's right.
your job is to get there when they tell you to, not to start shooting when
That's it.
you get there, you know,
You're
be
on.
found.
Yeah. You're on when the way I see it. I'm on the clock the minute I wake up. When I get up that morning, I'm in I have 100 people that are depending on me mode.
Right.
That's my promise to myself. I have people that are depending on me, which means I don't want to have to stop for gas on the way there. I want to
Hmm.
drive straight there, right? I don't want to I don't want to have to even depend on whether or not they have breakfast cuz maybe depend I mean obviously the bigger productions
Right.
have, but if I'm doing something a lot smaller, a lot more intimate, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna leave my house on time. I'm gonna get there. You need me at 6. I'm gonna get there 5:45. You know what I mean? Early enough to be present, but close enough to the time to not get in anybody's way and have to have them worry about me.
Right. Because yeah, that happens sometimes. You can't find the parking,
You
or
can't
the
find the
signs
parking.
weren't up, or and it's still on you.
It's still on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. It's wow. It's funny because yeah, especially this past weekend with this project I was doing, it was pitch dark up there. At that time in the morning, I'm pulling up. It's like 5:45, 5:40, and the GPS just kind of stops,
Uh-huh.
stops, and you have to make your way through this like abandoned rail yard to get to the set. I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm glad I'm here early. Yeah, yeah.
To
So
not be stressed, to not
it's
be, yeah,
stuff like that. You don't want to be stressed. You want to make the job as easy as possible on them. And the minute you stress them out, that's where the trust gets lost, to
right.
answer your question.
Yeah, and for the actors, sometimes it's fine for you to say no, I don't want to do nudity, but if
Right.
you signed on to do the project and you
That's
agreed to it and then on
that's
set you say no,
that's the next thing.
yeah.
That's the other thing. Keep your word. Keep your word. If you say you're going to do this, you have to follow through. Look, I've done free work for people. I have showed up to their projects and have done stuff for free, right? No pay, pro bono. Like, Teddy, would you be in my
Mhm.
film? Cool. I see where you are. I see you and I see what you're doing and I see what you want to try to get done and I see your vision and I see your drive and I'm going to meet you there. You're asking for my help. You need my help. You got it. I can give you a day, right? Might not be able to give you much more than that, but I can give you a day on your set. And when I get there, I am not going to give you any less effort. I'm not going to give you any less of myself because I'm not getting paid.
Yeah.
I've agreed to it, which means you get 100% of me. It's not, oh well, you're not paying me for this. You're not paying me enough for this. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you 50% of myself because you're not giving me anything in return. That's horrible. That's
Yeah.
that's probably the easiest way to lose trust,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
you're the one who looks terrible and you're the one who's not,
Yeah.
if yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
want to do it for what they're paying,
If that's it. You
that's
have you
okay.
have every right to
Especially
say
when they've
no.
told you,
You have every
this is
right
what
to
our
say
budget
no.
is.
Every right to say no. You don't have to do something that you don't want to, but once you agree to do it, you have to promise yourself to give everything, right? Because if you don't, then what did you just agree to?
Are there any big lessons that you've learned from any of the stars that you've been on set with, or maybe even just another actor? Maybe things that
Yeah.
you love to see done, or maybe
Yeah.
something that's like, oh,
Time management, time
uh-huh,
management. I mean, the one that most recently, and I've learned a lot from watching a lot of different people, but the one that kind of, yeah, is like most is closest right now in my memory. I worked with a high profile actress who's also just a huge entertainer,
mm-hmm,
and her ability to manage time while she also had like 100 other things on her plate and she was doing all these other things within her career. She was also shooting a movie with us, right,
mm-hmm,
where she where she was the lead, right. And this woman was very, very precious about setting her boundaries,
Mhm.
right? And politely asking people to respect her boundaries, because when you're that grand and when so many people know you, there are these moments in between, takes and setups and scenes, and where people want pictures and they want to talk and
Mm.
stuff like that. They want to get to know you. Um, and it's their opportunity, whether it's the background actors or whether it's cast.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. But she was just very, very diligent about keeping her distance in a way that didn't say, it's not that I'm better than you. It's that I need to conserve my energy because I've got so much going on.
Right. This is
You,
what I need right now.
this is what I need. This is what I need right now. And it was a lesson in just creating space for yourself
Mhm.
while you're on set, and a lesson in what it looks like to have a healthy boundary with the
Mhm.
people around you that you also care about and that care about you. But there's also something that's going on with you that you need to take care of, which is you can't afford to be so frazzled and
Right.
stressed, because you're the spearhead of this film, right?
Right.
And
And
that's pretty cool.
your boundary might upset somebody else, but that's not your worry.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. You had talked about that first agent that you got,
Yeah, 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 my first manager.
manager,
Yeah,
first
yeah.
manager. So were you a little crazy? How did you bring the crazy in?
So
One of
for
my
me it
questions is
was
how did what questions did you
I,
ask
w-
in that first meeting? But
I was already there. I was
Mhm.
already there because I was in my 20s. I was already there. I was in my 20s. I was in New York, right? Like I was running around. I
Making
was
friends on the train.
making friends on the train, and like just my days were so crazy. They were so frazzled. I was also like, I mean, I was a dancer at the time, so I was literally globetrotting, like going to like different countries like every other week to perform, and it was, and so my mind was in 100 places at once. And once this machine in here starts to kind of like spin, right, it washes over your entire body. Like people could see it, be like, like what's he's he's not playing with a full deck right now. Like he's all over the place, and it probably showed up as like ADD. I know I went into his all. I think I complimented like the paint on his walls when I first got in. I was like, yo, this is a cool color, man. What's that got to do? But he was, yeah, no, he was super cool, and it all worked out, and it was a good match. It was a good temporary match for sure.
Do you know what you would ask somebody nowadays if you were taking a meeting?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like th- this the business has changed.
Yeah, it has.
This is now and has always been commerce. It's show business,
Mhm.
right? Not show friendship, not show hook me up with a role, right? Business, right? Which means there are um there are things about this that might not necessarily sit well with you if you really, really sit down and look at your body of work versus somebody else's, or what you offer versus somebody else's. Sometimes it doesn't match up, but that person might have leverage in another area that the business needs to use.
Mhm.
And so your talent has nothing to do with it. Like, relax, my friend. You're a good actor, but you being good is not why you get a lot of jobs nowadays, man. I'm sorry. It pays to be good. It does. Yes.
It
It
helps.
really it really absolutely helps. You know? And it's not something that a lot of people want to hear. So the conversations with a representative have to be, how do you use me? Right? How do you use me if I'm not a social media sensation?
Mhm.
If I don't have 400,000 followers. Like, where do you see me? Who else on this roster, right? Am I going out? You used to go out in a manila folder,
Right.
right? You don't go out in the manila folder no
I
more
remember
with,
when you go and pick up your sides at your agency and you'd see who
yes,
else was going up for your
right,
parts.
exactly. That's not happening anymore. It's digital.
No,
So
that
who
was a
else are you
great
submitting?
change.
Right. Who else are you submitting alongside of me? Which is okay. I'm not necessarily too worried about other people. I'm not. But if you have a representative that is stockpiling 5 or 6 different actors just like you for one role, it's bad enough that you have to compete. If you're in a
Right,
small agency, a boutique agency, it's bad enough you got to compete against Morris
right.
and CAA, who the director and the producer and the writer are all rep by the same agency, and so now they're just going to package the actor in from their agency anyway and overlook the whole process.
Yeah.
You might not necessarily like some of the conversations that you have to have with these agents, but I'm glad I don't.
Hmm.
I'm glad that I have my reps, and I care about my reps. I love them. They love me. My manager especially is like, great dude. But if I were to sit down with somebody, I would really, really have to see how I fit, and that comes with a whole host of questions.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
okay, if you're a guy who's 25, do you have any other young, handsome guys that are 25? They should,
They
right?
should, right? Yeah,
But, there's different energy that each person brings, and
yeah.
so,
There's a yeah, and are you? I think one question everybody should ask
oh, I like
is,
that.
yeah, is are you reading the last sentence? Are you reading everything through down to the last sentence of the breakdown?
Oh,
You're going to start off with male, Middle Eastern,
hmm,
25 to 30 years old, right? You're going to start, and then boom, that's when the trigger starts to get pulled, right? All of a sudden, the next couple of lines might give you details about this character's life that are not in uniform or in unison with what this actor might want to do or may want to play. There are a lot of underrepresented groups out there that aren't getting the opportunity to shine within their own demographic,
right,
because there are actors that are not necessarily taking roles, but they are being submitted for these roles when the real authentic thing is already there. Um, and they've done really well with that lately. Like, let's say they used to have to do CGI to like remove a leg if you wanted to play
somebody who's disabled or,
disabled. Plenty of disabled actors out there, right? That deserve the opportunity to be
right,
seen, right? Don't submit me for a disabled actor,
right,
right?
yeah.
I don't want to take that role away from them. That's just me, you know?
No, I
Yeah,
totally understand that.
yeah.
Now, if they read people and it's not the right, whatever it is, the mix that they need,
Go through the channels.
but first, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Go through the channels for sure. And then of course, look, there's a caveat to that, obviously. What if the character starts off
right.
looking like me and walking and talking and stuff like that, then has an
But of
accident?
course, CGI can work the other way
CGI
too.
can CGI can work the other way, right? So, you know, but I just think that there's conversations that everybody should have with their agent about how they are going to be used within that
So is
roster.
that thinking about things that might frustrate actors that agents do, or things that actors do that frustrate agents? Anything that, not reading all the way through, not
Yeah, I think look, I think actors do more things to frustrate agents than
oh, without a
agents
doubt.
than agents do to frustrate actors, for sure. I think agents are just trying to do their jobs, and per capita, I think there's more experienced agents than there are experienced actors. I just think that I think that agents have a stronger hold on how to do their job than a lot of actors have on theirs. And that's not to say that there's, this disparity has anything to do with how smart you are or anything like that. But agents are submitting all day, every day, from 10 in the morning to like 4 or 5 at night. They're submitting, they're looking at breakdowns, they're reading breakdowns, they're talking to casting directors, they're forming relationships with producers. They are busy all day. As an actor, when you wake up at 10 in the morning, what's the first thing
Mhm.
you do till 5 o'clock? Let's just say those 7 hours. Are you working on your craft for 7 hours? You're not.
Right.
Don't lie. You're not.
Wouldn't it be amazing?
You would be absolutely phenomenal if you did that. So they have more practice at their job each and every single day. So they're probably not going to do a lot of things to piss you off.
I also think what I hadn't thought about until recently is that now agents are looking at so many self tapes. They had no idea what was happening. They'd send you out, you'd go to the audition, they'd get the feedback. But now
Now they
I know a lot of people like, I'll send you 3 takes, choose the one you want to send. And it's like they're spending a lot of time watching your auditions.
they're spending a lot. They're watching your auditions. You're sending them auditions. They're watching your auditions. Sometimes it goes through them. Sometimes it goes direct to casting. In the breakdowns, in the portal or whatever, the CMail.
Right.
But they are a lot more. Um, they're a lot more savvy in terms of who you are in front of the camera and in these audition situations than they were before. I think actors might call agents too much to, or email them a little bit too much to find out what's going on and, hey, what are we doing, and this, that, and the other stuff. Little do you know that they're submitting you. Ask for a submission report. If you're not,
Yeah.
you know, I ask for a submission report like every other year. And it's not for any reason other than I want to see the casting directors that I've been submitted to so that I could be able to kind of like follow up either on social media or try to just make a list
Hmm.
of these things, right? I'm not checking up on you. I'm not trying to check to see if you're doing your job, right? Because I know you are. But if you're not confident
Or
that
sometimes reminding them, oh, I haven't seen that I was submitted for this casting person.
right,
We're really tight. I really think,
right,
remind them that you represent me if there's something that's right for me that pops up.
right.
Was there ever a time when you thought that you might quit?
I never thought I'd quit, but I've gotten really pissed off at
Uh huh.
times. I've been like, yo, come on, man. Um, but I've never thought that I would quit. Because I believe, not looking back, and hindsight is 2020. You get to kind of like look back and say, oh, okay, this is why it worked out. I've always loved what I did,
Hmm.
and I have a problem with quitting on something I love. Right? Like I don't got it in me.
Uh huh.
I don't got it in me. I'm not that savage like to just walk away from something I love. I like to fight for the things that I love. And I've always loved this. And I've always had an ego, a hidden ego that not too many people can kind of see. You have to be around me for a long time to see it. And that ego is like, oh, you bailing out, huh? Right? It's that voice in the shoulder. Oh, you leaving, huh? All right, sayonara, punk. Go ahead. Go ahead. Free up some space on the freeway for the rest of us. We don't need you here.
Hmm.
And when that voice starts to go, I'm like, kiss my ass. I'm staying. But I don't think I've ever come close to it. I've gotten very upset. I've felt like, goodness, I have thought, my God, if I wasn't doing this, somebody told me, they were like, this was a while ago, and he goes, Ted, man, you're pretty smart, dog. I'm like, thank you. Just like that, you're pretty smart, dog. You probably be making a couple hundred grand a year doing something else. Um, I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then that was the end of the
And
conversation, right?
be miserable.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't be happy, but yeah, no, 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 no. I can't remember a time when that feeling was actually real,
Hmm.
right? Where it was like right at the door. No.
I don't know about quitting, but I'll say usually because to be a little stereotypical, sometimes my female actors tend to be a little more emotional. And I'm
Right.
like, there might be a time when you're going to be in my office crying.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
You can be frustrated. You can be
Yeah.
upset. It's not a fair business.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not fair at all. It's not fair at all, and
And
it's
that's the pissed off you were talking about.
yeah, and so you get pissed off and you get upset, but I can act anywhere. I can act on stage.
Yes.
I can create my own, like 2026. Come on. I mean, the invention of these DSLR cameras just like even the playing field on. And so now getting a group of like-minded artists to do this thing with you and go on this journey with you and create this story with you and make this movie with you gives you even more of an opportunity to do what you love without having to ask permission from the gatekeepers, right?
Right.
And when that started being a thing, I was like, oh, I'm definitely not leaving.
No.
I'm definitely not. Y'all don't want to hire me? Cool, no problem. It gives me time to write my own stuff and to do my own stuff. No, I love it too much. I love it too much. It's too much of a part of me.
What was one of your highest moments in the business?
Wow. You know something? I out of habit, I like to just to remember the most recent
Uh
things.
huh. Yeah.
And I think, because I just got a chance to work with a lot of people that I respect just now, this past week, I just worked on a project called the 65th, and it was about the 65th Regiment during the Korean War,
Okay.
which was a battalion. I don't want to misname what they were, but it was a group of Puerto Rican soldiers. They called themselves the Borinqueneers, and they fought against the Koreans in the war. And it's such a beautiful story because really it's about identity versus honor versus loyalty to a country that really was discriminating against them, even while they were over there in Korea busting their asses for the US. Um, and it was an all Puerto Rican cast. I think I was the only Dominican in there, right? But they, I mean, it the this is the thing about relationships. The director and I have known each other for a very long time, and he trusted me with this little role. It was a small role, but it was so pivotal, and it provided levity, a moment of levity, uh, during a really harsh time. Um, and there was another scene that was just heartbreaking, and that was just it was just such a high moment for me. I know that it's a recent one, right? And if I thought maybe that, and I went back 20 years or whatever, there might be something else. But I'm always grateful about the most recent stuff
Mm-hmm.
because it's what I just did. It's what I just accomplished. And this actually means a lot to me because it is about it is a story that hasn't been told on film, and it's about Latinos, and it's about my folks and my people, and you have so many like brown people in one place in front of and behind the camera. It was so beautiful, and nobody competed with each other. All of us would probably get called in for the same roles, by the way,
Right. Right. Right.
but now we're all on the same cast,
Yeah.
and that's beautiful because it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I haven't experienced that too much.
How do you handle comparison?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me as much. It
Did
really
it when you
doesn't.
were younger, or?
You know something? When I was young, there was look, all right, look, there was the only person I've ever been compared to was just by looks, and I never thought I looked like this. But there was an R&B artist. I think he's still around. Genuine,
Uh huh.
right? So when I was in college, I went on spring break, and I had an entire club of people thinking I was Genuine. And my friends were playing it up, and they were getting drinks because of it. It was wild. I've never thought I looked like Genuine. I'm like, y'all think I look like Genuine? I don't look like Genuine, man. But that was the only, as far as being compared artistically to anyone, no one has ever done that. Visually, image and likeness, you might see somebody that kind of I resemble or stuff like that. I was like, oh, you remind me of such and such person, which is okay. It's cool. There's a lot of us out there, right? But as far as artistically, in terms of like, no, no, I don't. I personally don't know too many.
And is there ever anybody that you go up against a lot and
Yeah, good friend of mine. Good friend of mine. We met at an audition at CBS Radford
uh-huh.
in 2006, maybe. Yeah, shout out to my boy Celestin. Yo, good dude, Dominican guy. And it was a callback, and it was between me and him. And we were the only two that showed up, right? And we were like, hey, what's up? What's going on? And so, we hit it off. He ended up getting it. And then ever since, I've gone for roles that he's gone out for and I booked. And then he's gone out for roles, right? Saying that, and he's booked. And, but I think it's an essence thing because it's definitely not. We look different.
Right.
We look different, but
The
we're both
breakdown, you look the same.
breakdown. We look the same, both whatever 6'2", six
Mm,
three. A certain size, a certain skin tone. But he's a different actor. He's a different actor. Very successful, great body of work. But we're two different people. I'm gonna offer something different.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's such a healthy way of looking at
Yeah,
it.
for sure. No,
and,
for
and
sure.
and an honest way from you,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to
You might have even worked with him, I think. I
I
think you
think I
might have.
might have.
You might have even worked with him at some point. But yeah, good dude and yeah, so it's cool. Doesn't bother me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me whatsoever. No, no, no.
You know, it's not your job. It's the job. And maybe, and if it's not going to be you, I always wanted to be a friend,
That's
you
right.
know?
Oh yeah, no, truly
The
happy for
only
him.
time I get upset,
Yeah.
especially if I'm coaching somebody, is if it goes to somebody that I don't think is as talented as my client.
Right.
But then it's usually they're a bigger name, whatever. They're going to pull more people into the seats.
Right.
It's
Right.
not fair, but it is what it is.
That's the conversation you have
Yeah.
to have with yourself. Honestly,
Yeah.
this is show business. Sometimes ticket sales matter. And
Right.
sometimes, that familiarity and that quote unquote celebrity
If you were the
matters.
producer, would you hire
Would you right,
you or the other
exactly.
person?
Exactly, exactly. If you're trying to make your money back, are you gonna hire the more talented person or the person that's gonna like bring butts into seats?
Right.
That's a real thing.
Yes. And the butts into seats usually is talented enough,
Hell yeah,
you
enough.
know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure, for sure. It's not that they're not talented. It's that if you truly ask yourself, what was the principal reason in which someone was hired over the next, you'll never truly know until you see the final product and it's like, oh, okay, no problem. This person has a certain amount of social media followers, and or maybe their body of work is just so grand that it's like, oh, familiarity matters in this business. People want to go to the movie theaters and watch TV to see people that they've seen before
Right. Yeah,
you know
it's true. Is there anything we might have covered this? Anything that you tell yourself when you don't book, especially if it's one of those jobs that you
they're
were
lost.
really hoping?
They're
Ah.
lost. They're lost. They're lost. you know I offer look, I've always seen it as I offer something hyper specific.
Mhm.
I do. And that's my reality. I've accepted it. I am a Dominican man. I am sensitive to a certain point. I have um a certain way of expressing myself, whether it be through mannerisms or vocabulary. Those things put me in a certain place, right? You're not gonna y- y- you're if you don't go with that and you go with something else, I understand why, because I understand who I am. I understand who I am. um there's there have been, a lot of times, like if you're casting, like let's say you're casting black, right? um a lot of times it's I can see the brown skin. I can see it. I can see the brown skin. I see you with the brown skin. But it can we cast him? Can we cast him as black? I mean, is the black community going to believe that he's black? And Spanish also. I've gone out. We can see the brown skin, but is the Spanish community going to believe that he's Spanish? In this cast, can he play his, this person's love interest or brother or sister or son? You
Right.
know, there's an ambiguity to me. It's interesting, and it makes me. That's my superpower.
Have you always been so confident as an actor?
No, I had to learn. I had to learn that. I had to learn that because after looking at myself over and over and over again, and after being overlooked
Hmm.
over and over and over again, and understanding that what they needed was something that was so much more defined within their mind and within what the writer wrote and within the way they actually saw the character. When I realized that their hyper specificity to what they were looking for was not being met by my broad ambiguity and by my whatever versatility I offer or whatever, it didn't bother me. It 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 started it started becoming like it really became a your loss kind of thing, because I know I can offer something that you didn't think you were going to get. But if you're not in the market for something you didn't think you were going to get, then why would you go for that anyway? I
Right.
understand your part in this, and I'm not mad at you at all. At all. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wished that you had worked on earlier in your career?
Probably voice.
Uh-huh.
Probably voice. Probably like in terms of music, singing. I can't sing. I sing happy birthday, sing in the shower, sing in the car. But and when I say I can't sing, is I like one of the first plays that I booked. It was a musical, right? And I sang in chorus, but I was the only one that didn't have a solo, right? And they knew, they knew. I played three characters in that play, but I did not sing. Everybody else sang. Everybody else had solos. Everybody else belted, and I mean, like this was a huge. This was like off Broadway or whatever, but it was a huge auditorium, probably like 1,000 people. And every night I would watch them sing,
Mhm.
and I'd be like, man, I wish I could sing. But I wish I had trained my voice to be uh, in the singing capacity,
Mhm.
right? 'Cause there's obviously different things you can train your voice for. Um, and that would be nice. It would be nice to be able to hold a tune. I
Well,
don't know that. I don't know that
never
I'm.
too late, I think.
It's never too. No, it's never too late. I'm just thinking that as it pertains to the craft itself and
Yeah.
to what's most useful of me, right? Um,
If
I
they need a singer, it's not you.
If they need a singer, they're gonna find one before me.
There's no dearth of
There's no,
singers.
no, no, no. Yeah, yeah.
If you were going to restart your career now in 2026, what would you do? Or start fresh?
Start
I'm
fresh.
thinking about my actors that are out there in the world right now.
Yeah, I would write my own film.
Ah.
I would write. So there's two things I would do. I would write the feature, right? I would keep it to between 85 and 90 pages. Small independent art house film with myself as the lead, right? And then I would take that and I would extract the most important thematic points and create a short,
Ah.
right? I would try to shoot the short, and really a good short, and try to get financing from the short, like shopping the short around and stuff like that, showing what you're capable of doing. I would learn how to get behind the camera and direct it for myself. And I would sit my butt in an acting class at least 3 days a week. hands down. So I would be writing, I would be in my acting class, and I would spend my days just sharpening my instrument every day, every single day.
You're somebody who looks at this business as a business.
This, yo,
You know, how many businesses are successful if they put 3 hours of work in a week?
you know what? 3 hours a week.
Right?
Listen, man, you not. No, no, no. You've got to go. This is this. This is the Olympics
Yeah.
of right. This is the Olympics of.
And there's other people out there training right now.
There's right. There's people training out there. That's what I tell young actors all the time. I'm like, you're right. Listen, you know who you're going up against? What are you, about 25, 26, young white male? All right, that's Timothy Chalamet.
Right.
That's right. To the point where let's put it like this. You're not even going up against him. You're not. He's being offered the roles that you would not even be considered for at this point. You've got to work
Yeah.
to put yourself into categorically into the conversation, right?
Yeah. You can't wait for them to come find
No,
you.
no, no, no.
What do you think actors should stop spending money on?
Wow. Wow, I don't know. I don't know.
I always feel, knowing that I make my living from actors,
Yeah,
they make the whole town run.
yeah,
Everybody makes their money from them,
everybody.
and I'm always looking for ways to save them money. And I'm always, so
Yeah, I don't. That's a good question. I don't know. I've
thank you for
never.
not saying acting class.
I don't know acting class. You
I
crazy?
know
You
you don't
gotta you
believe in
gotta
that.
sit you gotta sit your butt in an acting class. Seriously. You think this is? Oh my god. I honestly I don't know because I can't. And I'm looking at my own life. I've never been frugal, right? Like I've just like I get the money, spend the money. Like I don't know. Maybe it's like the New York in me or whatever. But I've never overdone anything when it came to my spending money on my craft. I always spent it on the things that I thought were necessary. When printed headshots were a thing, I would spend it on the headshots,
Right.
right? Um, I spent most of my money on classes or um some type of training, right? Some type of training that benefited the craft, right?
Dance,
Dance or what?
stunts. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. Um, I invested in a nice little, DSLR camera, because I'm a little bit of a camera geek,
Uh-huh.
right? For my auditions, even though and look, I've been, putting auditions on tape, I think since 2013, 2014. And iPhones have come a long way, so you can do it on the iPhone now and stuff like that. But I really don't know what an actor can stop spending money on that's not benefiting them. I think, it's easy to overdo anything in this town. And how do you overspend when you don't got no money?
Right. Well,
Actors,
credit cards.
right? Oh God, yeah, that's right. It's like,
Right.
yeah, actors don't have that much. I mean, if you're a working actor, then that's kind of different. But
Right.
if you're a struggling actor, save your pennies, man.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
business.
it's a
Invest
business.
in what you need to, the training. Maybe you don't need new headshots every month, every year, but every
You
three
definitely, yeah,
years,
for sure, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. If there's something drastic that you've done, if you've cut your hair,
Right.
right, and you needed a couple of new shots, I think that's important, mostly for women, right?
Right.
If your hair was very long and you cut it, stuff like that. Yeah, but other than that, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I've got a few fast questions, I think.
yeah.
Uh, Self tape or in person?
In person. Uh,
Comedy or drama?
Ooh, I can't say dramedy. Man, I'm gonna go with the comedy. I'm gonna go with the comedy. I have to.
Okay.
I love the drama, But to do the only reason I'm able to actually do drama is because I can laugh at things. And there's pain on the other side of that. So,
Best audition advice in 5 words.
ooh, best audition advice in 5 words. Uh,
I
let
see.
go, let go, let go of your ego.
I love it.
Let go of your ego. Let go of your ego, man. Seriously,
And we touched on this earlier, but biggest myth about acting.
anybody can do it. I think you. I think that's the biggest myth. That anybody can do it. Yeah. I think that acting is the one craft or art form where you can kind of backtrack what you just did and say, I meant to do that. I meant to do that.
Uh-huh.
Right. But if you're a musician and you pick up a guitar and you can't play a guitar, the minute you play the first note, we're gonna know that you can't play because it's gonna sound wrong. If you're an intermediate guitar player, I'm gonna know that you're an intermediate guitar player, right? Because you can't hit certain chords in time. If you're a singer, minute you open your mouth and you sing that first note, we're gonna know if you can sing or not. But as an actor, for some reason, if you're untrained, you can kind of hide behind that and feel like you can say that this is, oh no, well I intended to do that. That's kind of what I wanted to do. And I just feel like you got to respect the training. You got to respect the grind and getting in and really working on the craft.
Is there any advice that you wish you'd heard at the beginning of your career?
Don't take it personal. No one ever really truly said that.
Wow, that
Nobody
would have
ever
been
really,
good.
yeah, nobody ever really truly said that. I mean, the truth is that I might have heard it and not paid attention to it, but it didn't resonate until like I had already kind of been settled into this is where I'm at and this is my journey. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. They're building an entire world, right? If you're right for their world, you're right for their world. And if you're not right for their world, there's another world being built that you might be right for.
Oh, I love that.
That's
Well,
it, man.
thank you for being
Yeah,
my very
right on.
first ever guest.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, this
And
is
I'm
great.
very
Yeah.
sad that you can't be teaching at the studio right now, but very
Yeah.
happy for the reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'll
Thank
be
you. Thank you.
back.
I will be back. I will be back. We'll make it happen for sure. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for
Thanks.
having me. All right.